Round 10 then of the World 500cc Motocross Championship, and Namur here in Belgium, probably the most famous motocross circuit within the world. And the points standing coming into this with George Jobé leading the championship, with this man, Billy Lyles, second, 38 points behind George Jobé, and just 7 points separates Lyles and Nicol, who is currently 45 points adrift of the championship leader, and that's him, number 1, George Jobé. Oh, there's Aaron Nicol, Paul Wong, and Billy Lyles as mechanic. That's the British riders, Brian Wheeler there, and young Warren Edwards. His first year in the 500 ranks, as George Jobé takes up the role of gardener and prepares, as one would say, his starting blocks for Heat 1. Dave Nicol, the KTM team manager, with his rider and son, Kurt Nicol, and Kurt knows that this is where he really has to do the stuff. Jeremy Watley, last year's British 500cc champion, as Nicol comes down onto the line to prepare himself for Moto 1. Fastest in time training, George Jobé, second behind him. There was Group B, fastest man, Billy Lyles, number 5, second onto the grid, as the rest of the riders slot in and prepare themselves for that gate to drop. Here we go. Heat 1, Namur, the Belgium 500cc Grand Prix. 5-second board spins around, the gate will drop, and away 40 riders will scream up that start straight into that first corner, and here they go. And we've got some banging and buffeting. We've got a lot of riders going down amongst that group. Jackie Martins, oh, Watley, Lyles is amongst that group. Anstey's gone up the bank. There's Lyles, he's got away again. But Billy Lyles, oh, what a disastrous start to his first moto. There's the Belgian flag as it's Jobé from Nicol, and Nicol really does have to win here today to keep his chances alive at the championship. He has to win, and Jobé has to DNF or finish further down the pack. Thorpe just went through there with Salsa. There's Ronnie Oosterraad as the rest of the pack comes screaming through, but the attention, no doubt, will be focused most firmly at the front. And on that man, number 5, the Georgian-American Billy Lyles, currently standing second in the championship, and the tussle is most certainly on at the front. Honda versus the Austrian KTM of Kurt Nicol. There's Johan Boonen, number 11, behind, and someone is on his way back to the paddock. That looks very much like it's Lyles. Lyles, obviously injured in that start straight crash, is heading back to the paddock for some treatment. Well, that's bad luck for him. Jobé, at the moment, leads. Nicol chasing hard, Boonen behind him. They're all really chasing hard here at Namur. It's a spectacular track with the trees, the bales. This is the track, the Grand Prix, that people travel from all over the world to come to. The atmosphere is unequalled anywhere. Thorpe going, a former winner here and a former world champion. They cheer on the rider, the British rider Kurt Nicol there, number 9. Johan Boonen, number 11, a real surprise package this year in the 500 ranks. British fans cheering on David Thorpe. And one must say that that's really been a disastrous season for the former champion. Carl Salzer was behind him. The British fans are waiting, so somebody else is on their way round. And let's see well, it's Brian Wheeler. There he is, giving them a good roosting of rear wheel earth. That's the young Supercross star, Warren Edwards, 55 behind him. But there is Nicol in the lead, Boonen behind him, and Jobé pointing, gesticulating to the side of his machine. He has a problem, and I suspect it may well be a gearbox problem. So Jobé looks to be dropping out of Heat 1. Nicol now has taken up the running, but he's got Johan Boonen, number 11, sitting very, very carefully on his back door. Number 93, that's a Swede, Hansen. Thorpe. More was expected of him in 1992, but he's had problems with injury. Number 18 there behind, that's Carlo Hulsen. But Nicol is at the front. Boonen behind, then behind Boonen it's 93, Hansen, the Swede. Thorpe somewhere back there in 4th by the side of the British fans waving the flags. I'd say that would herald the arrival of David Thorpe, and there he is, going straight through. 18 there behind him, Carlo Hulsen. He's having a good ride. So the checkered flag going out then for Kurt Nicol. Takes 20 points. Jobé takes none. That will reduce the deficit quite Definitely. Well, Nickel takes the applause of the crowd, and no better applause for second place man in front of his home fans. That's Johan Boonen. In third, the Swede, Marcus Hansson.
We've been waiting for this from Joe Bay for the whole season. No one can go the whole season without bad luck. Now he's had a bit. 25 points, not so much now with 8 races left, is it?
No, but a couple of weeks ago, did you begin to think it was all over for you?
About 30 minutes ago, I thought it was all over, but it changes.
Jackie Martin, she was involved in the first corner crash. Can you tell us about it, please?
Yeah, I was good in the start. I was at the second place, but then I started turning, and then Anstey was coming off the outside, and he hit me on the front wheel, and then I have no control anymore, and then I crashed to the left side, and then I take everybody with me. I think 10 or 15 riders, and yeah, and then it was finished. Everything was bending, and I hit a little bit my shoulder, but I think the second heat it's possible again. Good riding.
Billy Lyles down in the first corner, but not your fault.
I had a real good start going in, and somebody came from the inside. They were going much too fast. As I started to turn, they took us all down. And yeah, I remounted and was coming through well. I was already inside the top 20 in the second lap. And I come up on a younger rider, and I had him passed, and he got a little bit excited and thought he would close the door, and he took us both down.
And the extent of the injuries?
My whole left hand is pretty much messed up. As you can see, all of the fingers are cut, the knuckles are bruised, they're swollen, and the little finger is cut and is pretty much from the beginning to the end, and it's cut all the way to the bone.
And the break that you deserved, really, Joe Bay going out in the first leg that's now lost.
Yeah, but I didn't lose any points on him, so you know we're still in with a shout. There's 160 points left, and you know a lot of people have broken wheels here, and fortunately we haven't as of yet, and we'll keep plugging away and try to cut at that gap.
Well, the riders coming down onto the line there for the start of the second heat. George Obey with the repaired gearbox. And nice to see David Thorpe there finishing fourth in that first heat. And the former world champion, former British champion, coming back to form at the end of the season. There we go, someone got a good runner at the gate there, but into that first corner they go, and let's hope this time it will be clean. No, we've got somebody down there. Well, it looks like number 17, Joel Smets. Indeed it is, but it is Marcus Hansson that's gone to the front. Warren Edwards, 55 there, into second with Jobé third. Nickel is also back there in about fifth or sixth at the moment, but just look at the crowds lining the route of this track. Unbelievable stuff. The atmosphere here at Namur can be equalled nowhere in the world. They come from far and wide to enjoy motocross racing, but it's Hansson leading at the moment, Edwards second, Jobé third, Lyles is fourth. Better start for Billy Lyles this time. And, well, that's Martins behind, and that's Nickel behind Martins. Martins riding, of course, the Husqvarna four-stroke. But look at Warren Edwards. At the moment, this will be one of his better results of the year. Crowd going mad. Out comes the board, and just look at this, number 93, Marcus Hansson, it is that leads. 22-year-old Hansson has never won a Grand Prix, and if he can stay where he is now, this will be a tremendous performance for him. Edwards beginning to drop back now, as obviously some of those injuries he's picked up through the season begin to take their toll. But it's Hansson. Sweden, of course, traditionally a 500, well, rider country, I would say, by the way to describe them, I suppose. But there's Jobé in second now, making amends for that first race mechanical breakdown as Nickel begins to close on Martins on the four-stroke. You can hear the throaty roar of that machine. Edwards settles down behind that group. Track here, as always, quite rough in places, very hard as the leader goes through. We're looking back for second. Jobé is still there. Now, can Jobé do anything about Hansson that leads? Now Nicol is up to third. Now can Nicol catch Jobé? Remember, points are very important now to Kurt Nicol. He's had a disastrous month prior to this Namur Belgium Grand Prix, and he really does need to be winning just about everything. Nicol in his third, chasing the current championship leader, but there's the leader going through. We're looking back for second. George Jobé, the defending champion. He's there, but not really catching. The Swede really has got the gas most definitely on. Nicol chasing in third. There's Martins on the four-stroke. One has to wonder whether Martins out this year on a four-stroke heralds the beginning of four-stroke racing as far as world class is concerned. Edwards, more known for his exploits in the Supercross arenas of the world. But here's a man that most definitely will be looking very happy if he can stay where he is. 93 gone through the leader. Second place man, unable to catch him at the moment. Jobé, the defending champion. The man that's tried so hard for the last few years to become champion and finished bridesmaid 4 times previously. That was Kurt Nicol going through with Martins behind him. And Hansen wins. First ever Grand Prix win for the 20-year-old Swede. Unbelievable stuff. They'll be celebrating in his camp right after this one. Jobé follows him home in second position. Ronnie Oosterraad here, number 14, talking to David Thorpe, number 7. And David, well, he's not having a bad Namur. Number 11 there, that's the bike of Johan Boonen. There's Jackie Martins, machine, I should say, in prepared. And 79, that's the machine of Franco Rossi. And he's got a problem there. That's the rear shock that's leaking, so I don't really think he's going to have much in the way of suspension for this last race. And there is the four-stroke man, Jackie Martins, with an alternative form of transport, same as Johan Boonen. Billy Lyles there talking to the Johnson's sponsor, and that's obviously George Jobé. That's Stefan Everts, the 125, former 125 world champion, 250 contender of this year. That's Sharon Thorpe with Rebecca Lyles as the man that we're all watching here at the moment comes onto the line. Well, the two of them, we should say. This is Billy Lyles, previously number 9, Kurt Nicol. Lyles with those. He's got a broken finger, a very badly gashed and broken finger, which will no doubt affect his riding ability in this last race. George Jobé momentarily there. That's Ronnie Oosterraad. David Thorpe tucks in and makes those final adjustments to the Sinti Honda. 30-second board goes up to the riders. 5-second board spins around. This is it. Heat 3. Everything to go for. As the gate drops, someone gets a runner again. Let's see if they can get through that first corner without any problems. Oh, well, that was very nearly off the bike for Carlo Hulsen. Someone has gone down in a big heap, and everybody appears to be using him as a carpet. And it's number 17 again, Smets, but it's Jobé that goes to the front. Nicol is back in third. There is Lyles around 5th. Well, as we've already said, Nicol has to start scoring maximums at every round if he stands any chance of that 92 championship. Well, look at this. Right at the very back, Jackie Martins, number 2, has had a big get-off on the first or second corner, I think it was. And I can assure you he'll soon be back somewhere in mid-pack on the four-stroke. But it is Jobé from Nicol, 1 and 2 at the moment. There is Lyles. Ooh, there nearly was Lyles, as we should say. Feet flying in the air as he goes through. We pick him up. Third place man, Brian Wheeler there in 4th place. The one underedge rider, the British rider, 4th. Lyles at the moment chasing the other British rider, Mervyn Anstey. Nicol has now gone to the front. Where's Jobé? There he is in second. Hansen behind him, number 93, third. And there is Wheeler, number 26. Anstey 16, Lyles number 5. And Lyles obviously feeling the effects of that cut and broken finger. Let's join the action back in the front once again in his third and final heat. Nicol, Jobé, and Jobé knows, the wily old man knows that he really doesn't have to win every race now to win a championship. Nicol is the one that's got the pressure. Hansen, first in that second heat. Now third, being urged on. That's Ronnie Oosterraad. And there's David Thorpe, number 7. But it's Nickel at the moment, staring at the checkered flag and 20 points, most squarely in the face, and it looks as if he's lost one of his side panels. Jobé, number 1, the defending champ, gets the cheer on. Hansen it is, 93, hangs on to 3rd on the Kawasaki, and Wheeler, finishing 6th in the first race, is having a wonderful ride. Lyles just doesn't seem to be able to find a way around him. Nickel to the cheers of the British contingent along the cafe, up over the big tabletop. Jobé coming through, receiving equal cheers from the fans. That's really nice to see and hear. Hansen in 3rd, he also gets the cheers, up over the tabletop from the tarmac, and Lyles has now moved up into 4th. Wheeler dropping to 5th, but that's no disgrace for the rider. The Belgian flag being hoisted high along with the Union Jacks. There's Smets, goggles over his handlebars and does a wheelie for the crowd. Time to show off. But no time for this man to show off, because it's deadly seriousness for Nickel at the moment as he goes once again past the cafe and the hundreds of crowds that cheer him on. Here's Jobé with that distinctive squat position on the bike. Lyles beginning to close now. Looks as if he's gone up. Maybe, no, he's still there. And look at this. Wheeler waving to the crowd. He throws his goggles to the crowd. They'll have a souvenir, he says. 120, I think that's the British rider, Jason Higgs. Well, you can see the atmosphere. They say they come from all over the world to be here at Namur. And it is Nickel, punches the air with delight. He has taken the 20 points, minus the side panel, and his chances of a world crown increase.
George Jobé, disaster in the first race, but at the end of the day, the result has turned out okay.
Yeah, the result, because I'm still leading the championship with 24 points on Kurt Nickel. And yeah, unfortunately, the first heat was the bad thing for me, because I was leading in front of Kurt. I was leading quite good, and 3 laps to go, I broke the gearbox, so I lost 20 points on Kurt on the first heat, and you know, that's motocross. But anyway, it's not such a bad day, because also Billy Lice had a bad day today. So now Billy Lice is 59 points behind me, so I think for him it's going to be very difficult to win this year, and for the rest of the championship will be between Kurt and I.
Kurt Nickel, congratulations on winning the Belgian 500 GP. It's one you wanted to win?
Yeah, very much so. You know, I've won a few Grand Prix in my time, but the 2 I really want to win is the English GP and Namur, and I've won Namur now, just England to go.
The English GP, just look back on that for a moment, cost you dear really, didn't it?
Yeah, it was the start of a bad run. You know, my start gate didn't work in the first race. I got all revved up and rode badly that day. I rode reasonably well in France, but I didn't get a good start. And then, you know, the bike broke in the last race. Holland I rode okay, but it's not my favourite going, and the result I got there was about what I would expect. But I couldn't afford to lose more points. But now today everything's come back again. And
the bad run is over. 2 rounds to go. I mean, it could be now not a foot wrong. It's there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I feel very, very strong at the moment. Luxembourg has been a good track for me right since I first started going there. So, you know, everything's possible now.
In the first leg in the stadium, you drew side by side with George. Might have just touched him. Are you going to have to do that to win the World Championship, to go by him?
I prefer to pass cleanly. I mean, I like winning races like I won the last one. Passed, gone. I mean, that's my scene. But if it comes to a push and a shove, I'm not afraid.
Well, it's going to be good to watch the last 2 rounds. It's certainly going to be exciting, and the championship has had its ups and downs, but hopefully yours are over now and we can look forward to some good results.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it now.
Thanks, Kurt Nickel.